Good morning, Cubs fans, and welcome back to another episode of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. We got a lot of fun topics to get into today. The Cubs played their first exhibition game in Japan. I'll give you my first take reaction the morning after it happened. We're going to break down the infield starting depth chart, and we're going to go over a trade rumor as well. But before we get into all that, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Who's going to win the NL Central? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I want to hear everybody's takes. Let's get into it. Starting off with the first big rumor today, Dyaln Cease. He's been a hot name on the trade market all season long, ladies and gentlemen. Even last year with the Padres, they did agree in arbitration to a $13 million deal, but that doesn't mean the Padres aren't going to be looking to move him. The Cubs were listed as one of the 9 teams by Jon Heyman in a writing to The Athletic report in January. Heyman lists the Cubs, the Mets, and all 5 AL East teams among that group. The 2 remaining clubs are unknown through The Athletic reported in January that the Twins had shown interest. So, we kind of know 8 of the teams. And again, if you're going after a pitcher like Dyaln Cease, everybody should be making that call, right? I know there's the smaller market teams that don't want to spend a lot of money, etc., but to get a great pitcher like Dyaln Cease, you have to at least make the call and see what the Padres are interested in at the very least. Now, let's remember, Cubs fans, Dyaln Cease is one of our own. He is a product of our very own farm system. We made a deal back in 2017 where we traded Dyaln Cease and Eloy Jimenez for Jose Quintana to help bolster that rotation and help us make a playoff push back in the day. So, again, that trade in hindsight doesn't look so great, but in the moment, I was totally understandable of it. Again, the Cubs were in a different position back then, right? They were going for a winning team. They were trying to go back-to-back, and they needed to bolster the starting rotation to make that happen. So I get the move back then. Now, the Cubs, maybe with a chance to bring back that key player, Dyaln Cease, to be a frontline starter for this rotation. I'm not sure how much it would take. He doesn't have a lot of time left on his contract, so maybe it wouldn't take the highest prospect in our farm system. But Dyaln Cease, for a pitcher like him, he will demand a high price point in terms of prospects. But again, we've talked about this before, ladies and gentlemen. The Cubs are at a standstill point with their prospects. We have such solid talent at the major league level, I'm going to show you guys here in a moment, that we kind of need to make a decision on these guys, right? Like, do we need to move them now? Yeah, we might not get to see him play in a Cubs uniform. They might go have success elsewhere. But to help this team right now succeed, we might need to bite the bullet, trade some of these guys, go get Dyaln Cease, and add him to the club. Because again, I really think the Cubs are one frontline ace away from having one of the more dominant pitching rotations in all of baseball. We looked at it last video, right? With Shota and Justin as your 1-2, you're a really good ball club. You're a really good ball club. Do not get me wrong. But if you knock those guys down to the 2 and 3 slots, we are a lot different looking team. And those first 3 in a playoff series, best of 3 or best of 7, the Cubs will have a really good chance to win it regardless of who they match up against. I think that would take out the Mets pitching staff. The Dodgers pitching staff is going to be tough because they got a lot of great talent. But either way, I really think going after Dyaln Cease would be a fantastic move for the Cubs, and I think they should bite the bullet. If that means trading Owen Cassey or James Triantos or maybe some of those younger pitchers that are a lot more long down the line, then just let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of depth at the minor league level. Clearly, our pitching development program is fantastic. Let's go get a guy who is successful now and can help the team succeed right now. And I think Dyaln Cease is that guy. And I'm really confident in that because of a guy like this at shortstop, our main man, Dansby Swanson. Let's take a look at Dansby Swanson's insane value. We've looked at his hitting numbers, and they're not overwhelming. But again, I want you guys to have perspective on this. There's 2 positions in all of baseball where the hitting is more of like the icing on a cake, okay? Whatever they bring to us offensively is just gravy. But if they have solid defensive numbers, then they're really putting their worth on. And I think this graphic will prove it all, especially with Dansby Swanson, how valuable he is to this Cubs team. Look at this, guys. This was his rankings last year on defense. He had a 99% fielding percentage. He only made 5 errors. His range was a 14. These are all ranked first in baseball amongst all qualifying shortstops. He prevented 13 runs. His fielding run value, again, shortstop, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really tough position to play. And again, no one plays it more consistently than Dansby Swanson. And I'm very happy that he is our starting shortstop. And you know what? If he has a better offensive year this year as well, then that's even better, because he's just that fantastic of a defensive player. He's a great leader on the field. And again, consistently fielding the ball, making the correct play, hitting the correct cutoff, preventing runners from advancing 90. Those are the little things that win you ball games, ladies and gentlemen. It's subtle. It's nuanced. You might not notice it on the day-to-day. But when you watch him play, just be appreciative that he is our shortstop and that he will continue to bring his fantastic glove to Wrigley Field or wherever the Cubs are playing every single day. That is the best part about it. And then let's continue on about the whole infield, right? Nico Hoerner is hurt right now, but where does our infield rank in all of baseball? Let's take a quick look at the depth chart that I whipped up here. So we got Dansby Swanson at short, Nico at second. Both those guys, ladies and gentlemen, are certified Gold Glovers. We got Matt Shaw, who is learning a new position at third base, and we got Matt Bush playing first for us. Justin Turner can also play third base as well, but he'll also be a primary backup at first base. So, again, the Cubs pitching staff has to feel very, very confident with this defense behind him. Matt Shaw last night looked very, very solid in his debut at third base. Again, it was an exhibition game. It wasn't against a Major League Baseball team, but I do give caveat credit here. It was against a team that the Cubs had no idea how to scout, how to prepare for. It was an open seasons kind of deal. So I expect Matt Shaw to learn. I expect him to develop. There's going to be some growing pains, because there's just always growing pains, ladies and gentlemen, when you're learning a new position. But again, if we have that second base shortstop combo of Dansby and Nico, the Cubs are going to be in fantastic position to win the Central, because they're not going to let a lot of balls go by them. They're also not going to make a lot of errors either. They both have fantastic range at their position, and they're both fantastic defenders. So that's the Cubs infield. Up the middle, the Cubs are very strong. And on the outside, I'm not going to say the Cubs are weak. They're very solid right now, but they're developing, right? Those are the parts that are developing within the organization and hopefully can become strong defensive sides of the baseball for us. So the Cubs did play last night. It was a late night game, 10 o'clock start in Japan. They played the Hanshin Tigers. I'm going to give you guys my instant reaction. I did watch the game last night, and honestly, the Cubs looked like a team that was jet lagged. Straight up, they did not look like they had a lot of energy. They were hitting the ball pretty well, I would say. They were squaring it up, but unfortunately, it was just right at people. I will want to make a distinction here that the Hanshin Tigers had 2 pretty solid advantages, in my opinion. Again, they were playing with a Japanese baseball, which is slightly smaller than a Major League Baseball. It doesn't carry as well as a Major League Baseball would. And also, I think the Tigers really benefited from quote-unquote film study. I'm not saying they did a lot of film study or did anything like that, but there's plenty of film out there on the Chicago Cubs, right? They're the Major League Baseball franchise. They're historic, all that good stuff. The Cubs probably couldn't watch a lot of films on these guys because it just wasn't readily available to them like the Major League Baseball film is. So, again, the Cubs look confused sometimes at the plate, but they were able to square some baseballs up. Just unfortunately, it was right at a couple of guys, so it really did not work out. The Cubs did fall 3-0. If you guys do want to watch the Cubs play again, set your alarms, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a 5 a.m. start this Sunday morning as another doubleheader for the Japan-Tokyo games, and they will face off then. So, best of luck to the Cubs. They're getting ready. If you guys want to warm up for Tuesday morning, try tomorrow night with the Sunday morning game. But again, I wouldn't look too much into it. The pitching staff, they got hit a little bit. It was mostly a bullpen game. Again, I wouldn't look too much into it. I'm not too worried about it. Cubs are getting used to the lack of jet lag, the whole 9. But either way, Happy that baseball's back. Happy to watch this team. And I'm excited to keep on reporting for you guys. So for me, I hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I will see you guys soon.